The color of crepe paper can really be quite intense sometimes. And to make flowers that are beautiful and subtle, kind of like this inspiration rose that I have over here, we need to dye the paper so that the paper has natural variations. For this video, which is a tutorial on using alcohol ink and a surprise ingredient, we are going to be using heavyweight crepe. And heavyweight crepe in a cream color adds really nice undertones. Let me show you how heavyweight crepe stretches. That is pretty great. I would say this is about a 300% stretch, maybe a 200% stretch. And heavyweight crepe paper is wonderful for making curls and ruffles that you will see in roses. So please do like and subscribe, Craft Along with Kate, so that you find all of my free crepe paper tutorials. But meanwhile, let me show you how I made the beautiful, subtle crepe paper that I used with these flowers here that actually haven't been touched up at all. Right now they are just exactly the way that I dyed them. See you in a moment.
Let's go over the alcohol ink setup. The most important thing is that you have ventilation, and that could be as simple as having an open window. I'm doing it outside. You need a surface to work on. I'm using parchment, but you could work near your sink. You're going to need cleaning materials like paper towels, and you might want gloves. You're going to need water, 91% isopropyl alcohol, alcohol inks, and also lots of jars. I like to really play with the concentrations of alcohol inks and use different jars for putting darker dye and lighter dye. And what you're seeing me do right now is mix the alcohol and water half and half. Oh, and the big reveal is you need strong coffee. That is what's going to make our paper look fantastic. So I just brewed a super strong cup of coffee and I've got it right there with me, but it's not for drinking. All right, another thing that you're going to need is to have your paper pre-cut, to have a drying rack, maybe even some hangers or something for the paper to dry on, and bowls. And I like to have my inspirational colors right there with me on the table. And I am going for the beautiful yellow in that rose. And I have a picture of the pink nearby. Okay, right now, what I'm doing is I am pre wetting the cut paper in a plain uncolored solution of half and half water and isopropyl alcohol. I've already added the alcohol ink to a cup on my left that also has some of that solution of alcohol ink, uh, alcohol and water. All right, so I'm dipping the pre-soaked um, pieces of crepe paper into, oh dear. Well, good thing I have my paper towels nearby. Things get wet and slippery. Okay, so I am going to be really going with the flow here of dipping my um, pre-soaked paper that's been in the alcohol ink and water and dipped in the alcohol ink. And sometimes I'm going to be squeezing out the dye. Sometimes I'm going to be dipping it in additional dye. In a moment, I'm going to soak some more paper because I think what I wanted to do was really work on getting an ombre colorway. So there I've soaked the paper. And I think I'm going to be trying to get a lighter color now. So I'm just taking some alcohol ink and, oh, nope, this one's going to be a darker color. As you can see, I'm really going with the flow here. And so keep experimenting. Um, And I have 3 tips for you. The first thing is that you cut yourself some test strips. It is so easy to just cut a couple extra pieces of crepe paper and test them in the various dye solutions that you're working on. Okay, here I'm going with the coffee. The next thing is go with the flow. Just have fun, experiment, but also manage your expectations. And if it doesn't turn out perfectly, try again. All right, so now I'm going with the yellow, and it is really neon. I'm not liking it at all. So I decided I should just put some of the pink in there, and that did help. I also wanted to dilute it with some water and some alcohol, so that I could make some lighter colors. I am really looking forward to seeing how the coffee moderates this really bright yellow color. So as you can see here, I'm trying to make um, paper that varies in intensity, not only on the single sheet of paper that I'm dyeing, but also, oh, that's so much better with the coffee. Now, the coffee doesn't make the paper brown long term, but what it does is it mutes that intensity. So as you can see, I've got some pieces that are really intense, and I'm going to use those in the center of a rose. And then I've got other pieces that are much, much lighter, and those are going to dry actually almost white. So what I think you'll notice is that the wet color when you're using alcohol ink is much darker than the dried color. All right, I'm all set. I'm going to put these on a drying rack, and here's my outdoor drying rack. This is new to me and it's a total game changer. I just love it. All right, the big reveal.
Let me show you how the paper turned out. So here's the pink, and here's the yellow. And while I was making the paper, I also was working on a different project, and I came up with some pink that was too neon. And so I left it in the coffee for a while, and it turned out really great. Leaving the paper in the coffee doesn't turn the petals brown, but it does mute the color so that it is much more natural and I think very beautiful. Let's look at the yellow a little bit. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there are a couple patches of pink on this yellow paper, which is very true to yellow roses. They often have subtle accents of pink in strange places, like on the guard petals. And this ombre means that the paper is very flexible for me to use. If I'm working on outer petals, I can use this section of the paper, and if I'm working on inner petals, I can use this section of the paper that's colored more intensely. Just as a heads up, in case you haven't noticed, the inside of roses is almost always darker than the outer petals, and sometimes it can be a different color. This paper has really nice brown accents on the edges, which I would be able to use really well in making paper flowers. And so this rose here I'm quite pleased with, and it uses laminated paper on the inside from the yellow dye that I made in this video. And then in the outer section, it uses just single ply heavyweight crepe. And this rose here and this rose here use the pink paper that I made in this video. I really like them so much, and I hope you enjoy dyeing with coffee and making some of these beautiful antiqued colors. Please do like and subscribe, craft along with Kate, and I'll tell you all my secrets. Have a beautiful day.